I was reborn as every guy's dream, a first-gen Xingtian war mech. They called me a legendary hero mech. I saved the world from monster attacks countless times. I was the real deal. But with mech tech evolving at breakneck speed, I fell from top-tier battlefield legend to a forgotten training mech. And then they assigned me to a total loose cannon. She drove with zero regard for consequences and pushed me past my limits non-stop. Every time she fired, my barrels got so hot they felt ready to melt. And movement? Pure overload boost, like she was squeezing out my last drop of energy. Even worse, every time Lucy synced with me, I could feel that cold, bone-deep hatred coming off her. Why would anyone hate a mech this much? Did I hurt her on some mission before, or did someone poison her against me? I had questions, but no answers. All I could do was keep taking her anger. But Xingtian didn't have onboard AI, so I couldn't talk to Lucy. Every time my frame got damaged, I wished I could pop up 50 warning windows. She ignored every one of them. In the end, even the mechanics shook their heads at how wrecked I was. At this rate, after the next drill, they'd strip me for parts and bolt them onto a newer mech. I didn't know if I'd still be conscious after that, but I wasn't about to risk it. My life was on the line. Before she trashes me for good, I needed a plan. Just as I was thinking that, the radar went off. A few red dots were closing in fast. The next second, alarms ripped through Black Sky Base, and the radar was flooded with red. Then a few blue fireballs punched through the hangar ceiling and came straight at the control room. Pure reflex. I shot out an arm and slammed one into the wall. Blue slime oozed through my alloy fingers, hissing white smoke. Before anyone could react, hurried footsteps came from outside the command room. "Report, General! Leviathan just launched an energy attack. It's headed for Genhai City. All personnel, level 1 combat alert!" General Jack barked orders. Outside the base, hundreds of cannons opened up on the sky, their roar drowning out the alarms. Then a soldier blurted out in panic, "This is bad! Those energy pods are full of Type 2 monsters and fusion beasts!" General Jack stared up at the sky of fire, jaw clenched. The anti-air guns kept firing, but plenty of monsters still dropped into the base. Type 2 monsters are usually around 5 meters tall, and fusion beasts can evolve into 30-meter subgiants in just 10 seconds. Time was running out. Lucy, the only pilot left at base who could handle a mech, rushed into her combat suit and dropped into my cockpit. And I was the only mech left on standby. Then a roar came from outside the hangar. A fusion beast tore open the massive steel gate. Lucy locked eyes on the breach and kicked off neural sync. Heavy cannon loaded, mobility joints normal, rocket boosters fueled. A few seconds later, I ripped every cable off my body. That 30-meter subgiant had already torn through the steel gate. It was built for close combat. One swipe could tear through any man-made armor. I still don't get why monsters always have to roar before they attack, but for someone as dirty as Lucy, that was the perfect opening. She didn't spare a drop of fuel, slammed the boosters to max, flew up, and planted a punch right in the fusion beast's face. The thing had barely stepped through the door before Lucy sent it flying. Before it could react, the second punch smashed into its jaw. 2 hits in, it lost balance and started falling backward. Then I leaped, popped the wrist blade, and swung for its head. I missed the kill. At the same time, 3 tail spikes punched into my back. Lucy grunted and nearly lost her footing. Before she could recover, the fusion beast came in again. Then, without any command input, I auto-switched into combat mode. Power spiked. In that instant, Lucy felt her body being taken over. I twisted at the waist, spun, and sliced off its shoulder tail. The beast screamed as green fluid sprayed everywhere. Lucy didn't even have time to think. She fired the boosters, brought her arm down, and took its head clean off. As the seawater turned green, Lucy gritted her teeth and yanked the spike out of my back. Under neural sync, it felt like pulling a blade out of her own spine. Sparks burst from the gash in my back. That crazy girl was really trying to kill me. If I hadn't forced control back just now, I'd be scrap metal already. First battle, first win. Lucy was riding high, smugly looking toward her general father in the command room. Then, before she could finish celebrating, 2 freshly merged fusion beasts rose from the sea. The general hadn't even ordered a retreat yet, and Lucy was already squaring up again. I almost laughed. Seriously? Where was she getting this confidence? Sparks were flying off my back, my reactor was damn near blowing, and she still wanted smoke. But I couldn't just seize control again. If I forced it, the extra output could overload me and blow me up. Just when I was stuck between a rock and a hard place, a system prompt rang in my head. Host confirmed first kill. Evolution system activated. Historical kills converted into evolution points, 20,000. My reactor output shot through the roof, and my core processor hit an overload state I'd never seen before. I got it fast. As long as I scored kills, I could earn evolution points and spend them in the shop on gear and combat upgrades. There was even something called soul manifestation, a way for me to appear in living form. Long story short, I finally had a shot at becoming human again. What shocked me even more was this. As a first-gen legendary mech, all of Xingtian's past kills had been turned into points. A fusion beast's roar snapped me back to reality. Lucy was already charging in. Come on, could she stop playing so reckless? In a panic, I hurried and bought 2 upgrade modules. One was a turbo-nuclear reactor. The other was a high-end holographic AI interface system. The first would keep me alive a little longer and boost performance. The second would act as a vessel for my mech soul, so I could talk to the pilot and cut energy use. Total cost, 16,000 points. System prompt. Exchange successful. Delivery will be completed in 10 minutes. Are you kidding me? This garbage system has shipping times? Even if it makes no sense, at least beam it down from the sky or something. How outdated does a system have to be to make the host wait 10 whole minutes for delivery in a cyberpunk world? But the points were spent, the order was placed, and 2 fusion beasts were already charging. So how was I supposed to survive those 10 minutes? The twin cannons on my back opened up on one of them, but the model was way too old. The shots couldn't punch through its armor. All I could do was stall it. Lucy gunned me forward at full speed and slashed at its head. The fusion beast blocked with a claw, and we locked up. Then 3 tail spikes came stabbing at my head so fast Lucy couldn't even react. The next second, my head was pierced clean through. Warning, head armor destroyed. Thermal vision offline, energy radar offline. Backup visual module activated. True to the name, Xingtian was the only first-gen mech that didn't keep the cockpit in the head. Here's the opening. The heavy cannon lined up on the fusion beast's eyes and fired. Flames and smoke blasted straight into its face. The fusion beast howled. Lucy shouted and drove Wanren into its chest, ripping upward through the shoulder, but the fight wasn't over. Another fusion beast rushed right up to me and rammed me with that hammer-shaped head. Lucy felt like she'd just been hit by a speeding truck, and the impact almost threw her out of the operator's seat. Warning! Both arm plates damaged, waist armor damaged, rocket boosters offline. I never thought 8,000 tons of me could get sent flying like a rag doll. Severe frame damage detected. Use escape pod immediately. Not a chance. Lucy forced herself back up. She was never going to bail. If she died, she was dying in this mech. By then I was wrecked all over. Off in the distance, the fusion beast was roaring, getting ready for round 2. It threw its head back and charged. Lucy took a deep breath. Not even a flicker in her eyes. She was betting everything, and the distance between us was closing fast. And right then, the cockpit played the last thing she wanted to hear. Warning. Sync rate has dropped to 27, below piloting threshold. Loss of control risk detected. Exit immediately. Lucy had heard that warning at least 10 times in training. Every time it happened, Xingtian would force shut every system down. That's exactly why she could never make it to the real battlefield. Move, you old bucket! Lucy snapped, slamming the controls and hitting the restart button over and over. Move, Xingtian, move! But not in the way she wanted. The reactor spun into overdrive and the cockpit turned into an oven. This wasn't a programmed movement. That invisible force grabbed Lucy again, and I took control back. I twisted my body, lunged for the fusion beast's shoulder tail, poured every bit of power into my arms, and whipped it straight at the one charging us. The spiked tail cracked across its head like a whip. The charging fusion beast face-planted into the sea and kicked up a massive wave. I caught the tail on the return swing, its tip slick with green fluid. That strike had already bitten deep into its flesh. I kept whipping its head while moving in. By the time I got in its face, the subgiant was already on its last legs. I didn't hesitate. I drove Wanren straight into its skull and finished it. Severe frame damage detected. Please use the escape pod. Fire was still raining from the sky. Inside and outside the walls, it was monsters and artillery everywhere.